to prove to all of you guys that this channel is not just about doom and gloom, we're going to give you some happy news. Yes, some tiny victory again to celebrate. You remember the law firms that we reported a few days ago? I think it was last week. The so-called lawyers who were basically got caught thanks to the undercover investigation led by the Daily Mail, of all places. They exposed them for essentially working with illegal migrants to create fake asylum seekers cases and everything else, asylum cases, to go around and help them to stay in the country. Now, thanks to the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, who's been pushing the regulators and everybody else to go after them, well, those law firms have now been closed down. So initially we had the lawyers in the videos who were suspended by the law firms, and law firms all released a statement saying, oh, this was just a rogue solicitor who was working here, and we punished him. Everything's fine now. But Suella Braverman didn't stop there, and it's quite rare for me to completely praise Suella and the government because they've also made a mess of a lot of things. But Suella is trying her best, at least, in this government. The Solicitors Regulation Authority decided to essentially finally bow down to demands of the Home Secretary and many others in Parliament who have been pushing for this to happen, and all those law firms have now been officially closed down. Now there's still a lot more that haven't been exposed yet, and it's been going on for decades. It's not a new problem, and we have to continue to expose them until we find out which ones are good and which ones are fake. And there's, again, without getting too politically incorrect, there's a lot of similarities between those law firms. They're all, and have the lawyers who've been doing this happen to have Asian backgrounds and Middle Eastern backgrounds. Interesting, right? Anyway, Suella said, immigration lawyers who cheat and lie are taking the British public for a ride. Good to see this quick action by the SRA after the Mail Online investigation. I hope it continues. Well, that's good. And the government also need to do their own undercover investigation. They have to basically send out their own agents and spies to find out these cases. You don't have to wait for journalists to do it. You don't have to wait for Daily Mail to do it. The government have the resources to do it themselves. Send out your undercover agents to find out which firm is dodgy. So, also launching a wider inspection of the immigration sector to examine compliance with its new guidance. They've said that this will commence in the next few weeks and will include a cross-section of firms working in the asylum sector and take into account the issues raised by the Daily Mail investigation. So this is also good, that the SRA are also going to be doing a widespread investigation. But I have a problem with regulators and bureaucrats doing investigations, because when you're announcing that you're going to be investigating something, saying, oh, by the way, next Tuesday we're going to knock on your door to check out what you're doing, well, they can clean up. Do you remember when the World Health Organization went to China, went to Wuhan to look at the labs? They knocked on the door, they opened the labs, and all the labs were so clean, and it was like everything was perfectly organized and arranged, and there was absolutely no evidence about the virus, saying, well, we just we told China that we were going to go to Wuhan, and we went to the labs, and everything was perfect. Because you told them you were going, you idiots. So the same problem is, if these people are going to give a warning, a heads up to the law firms, of course they're going to find ways to cover up every dodgy thing they've been doing. Oh, bureaucracy, right? Anyway, these are some of the examples that they did in the video that we already obviously showed you guys a few days ago. Make sure to check it out if you haven't watched it. One lawyer, for example, said to the undercover journalist pretending to be an asylum seeker, get married if you want to stay in this country. That was one example. We also had another lawyer saying, well, you have to pretend that you're the victim of very physical abuse and everything else like that. So yeah, you've been tortured. We also had another one saying it will cost £4,000 to file a fake asylum claim. I love how this lawyer just cared about money. They're like, I'm not even going to give you a fake scenario. Just give me a lot of money. I'll sort it out later. Yeah, 4,000 will do. Yeah, 4,000. Yeah. The other one said, just tell the government that you've been trafficked. So the victim of human trafficking. This has been one of the main cases that everybody uses, especially those who came from Albania, because Albania is a NATO members, and this is not really a conflict zone, so they can't just come here and say, suddenly thousands of us happen to all be political refugees from Albania, your ally. Yeah, So they decided to say, I went to sleep in Albania, I was having drinks with friends, and I woke up and suddenly I was on a boat, I was kidnapped, and and suddenly I transferred money from my bank account to the people smugglers. I don't know what happened, maybe I got drunk, but I'm not here. I don't want to go back, but now that I'm here, can I stay? I mean, if you're a victim and you're now in a safe place like the UK, do you say, oh, they dragged me here? Well, you could just ask the British government to send you back. Just go back home. Your family is waiting. It's so easy to debunk these claims. Yet our government are just all over the place. Like, we don't know how to deal with human beings. Yeah, because you're a bunch of AI robots working in government. All the bureaucrats, especially the Home Office. Anyway, this is the latest update. I just want to give you some good news about these law firms being closed down. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.